never required even an iota of courage to interpret the Constitution vis-a-vis the UPDF Act as amended and to come up with the decisions I made. No courage at all. But I never forgot that I must be a slave of my conscience. I never forgot that I took oath to do justice to all manner of men and women in accordance with the law, without fear, without favor, without affection, and without bearing ill will. So for me, it is my submission. One could have talked of courage if it were true that out there is someone, for instance, the executive, the head of state, the Minister of Justice, the Attorney General, was always breathing on my neck from behind and say, you must write judgment in this case to the right, not to the left. Then maybe one would have said, I had the courage to defy the president, to defy the Attorney General, to defy the Minister of Justice. I'm about to leave this office having served 5 years. At no one point during my tenure has anyone in authority even pleaded, leave alone dictating to me, even pleaded with me that please let the outcome of this matter be in this direction. It has never happened. I should like to believe even my predecessors, the two of them are here, and by the way, Chief Justice Benjamin Odoke, Chief Justice Bat Katurebe, and Chief Justice Waku Wambuzi, the three were still alive. I know them very well. They are not made of straw. I think some of them would have put it in their judgment if somebody had approached them. That I was approached, they would have had the decency of not naming who that person was, but they would put it in their judgment. So this notion that there is somebody out there who speaks to judicial officers demanding or pleading that a decision must go this way, I do not know where it is coming from. It's a figment of imagination of those who do not wish the judiciary well. It would have been under such circumstances that one could say, oh, Chief Justice Owiny Dollo was so courageous to defy. In the case of Benedicto Kawanoka, it was Idi Amin who was defying the Constitution, was acting in defiance of the Constitution, in defiance of the provisions for upholding the rule of law. It was not Kawanoka who was taking courage. He stood by his conscience and he paid the ultimate price, for which we honor his memory today, as we have done before. And I thank my elder brother, Chief Justice Bat Katurebe, for initiating the function, an annual function. We should have held it tomorrow. The 53rd year would have been tomorrow. But being a weekend, we thought we would not be breaking any law to put it one day earlier. Then finally, having said that, in my experience, and I believe in the experience of my predecessors, the state has not sought, has not striven to infringe on our independence. Having said that, where is the problem? The problem, let me state it very clearly. The institution which should have been at the forefront of explaining to justice seekers how the justice process takes place is the one which has turned round, has declared war on the judiciary. In any jurisdiction of the world, members of the legal society take it up there as their responsibility to defend and protect the judiciary of the country. Not that they do not criticize. As a matter of fact, they make even brutal criticism of those institutions. But they know where to place those criticisms. They know where and how to engage with the judiciary to make it a better institution. We have here a body of persons whose leader in his campaign is very clear that his predecessors have not attacked the Chief Justice, that he is going to defy the Chief Justice. So the purpose of seeking leadership is to confront the Chief Justice of the day. I do not know whether if this Chief Justice leaves office, there's going to be now rapport. I do not know. I really do not know. So when you talk about affront to the independence of the judiciary during my time in office, it's not from the state. It's not from any powerful person who holds a political office. It's from my supposedly chief champion, the one who should make people, the one who should defend me, the one who should come and engage with me and tear me to pieces in the right forum and in the right manner. Chief Justice Benedict Kwanoka did not suffer this. None of the Chief Justices that I know of. You heard the Honorable Mao saying, I'm the most cartooned Chief Justice. I always laugh because I think they enjoy my handsome face. That's why they cartoon it. I never take offense. Yes. My plea is, okay, before I take my plea, I state my plea. Take the issue of bail. What is the constitutional right to bail? This part has been resolved by judicial decision. I get amazed that people still make statements as if there's no jurisprudence on issues of constitutional right to bail. The Constitution says an accused person who seeks bail has the right to apply for bail. That's the wording of Article 23. Look it up. I don't know whether people who practice today do not read this. Then the Constitution gives the judicial officer before whom someone seeks to be admitted to bail the discretion to determine whether or not to admit such a person to bail. That cannot be called a right. It is actually what I call nonsensical argument. That for a lawyer to come and speak politics in court and outside, a right to bail, really? Even for mandatory bail, where an accused person has spent the statutory period on remand, the court might say, I grant you bail, but the discretion is still left with court to determine the terms of that admission to bail. It's not like say, oh, you spend 5 years, you go home. No. Anybody who went to law school would know. But now you have even senior lawyers speaking politics instead of speaking the law, including in court. I really pity those accused persons who are represented by politicians who masquerade as lawyers or as advocates of the courts of judicature. because they don't help their clients. Then they will say, this judge took the file and is clinging on the file. I am head of the Judicial of Uganda. Let me be on record today. No judge in the courts of judicature of Uganda can allocate himself or herself a file. Cannot happen. There's a process, and did not start during my time. It's a time-honored process. You find you've been allocated a file. And if you're not happy with that judicial officer, you do not go on a podium in the marketplace, on a window market, and say, this judicial officer, this. No. You go before that person and say, we are seeking that you relieve yourself. It's called recusal of this case. And give the reasons. And the judicial officer is supposed to pronounce himself or herself. That's how things are done. Not to drag judicial officers in the mud. I would understand if it was the ordinary person who does not know. But if it is my chief warrior who's turning the spear or the weapon round against me, it's a very painful thing. Very, very painful thing. That dishonors the memory of Benedicto Kawanoka, by whom legal practitioners of the day and thereafter have stood. Finally, let me also make this statement, since my keynote speaker has spoken about it. Dr. Kiza Besigye. Dr. Kiza Besigye is entitled to the application of the rule of law. It won't be a favor. Senior counsel, it will be very dangerous to grant bail or to acquit Dr. Kiza Besigye, assuming there is evidence, because he leads a huge population, because a huge population follow him. That would be very dangerous. It means my peasant mother can suffer because the only people who follow her are her 4 children, including me. But a known quantity in this country must be treated differently. I do not subscribe to that, but I'm very clear in my mind that whatever the allegation against Dr. Kiza Besigye is entitled to the due process. And please leave the courts of judicature to exercise their mandate in pursuit of that due process. Leave out the politics. Come before the courts, make your case. Otherwise, for my brothers and sisters who have the privilege to make judicial decisions, there are people who find pride not in criticizing you. I would have no problem with criticism, but in dragging you in the mud over a quarry, name it. Be Chief Justice Benedicto Kawanoka. Be motivated by your conscience. And the instrument for you to exercise your function in accordance with your conscience is what I stated. Stated in the Constitution. You must never fear. You must never favor. You must never do things by affection or bear ill will even against the person who has dragged you in the mud. That's the difference between you and them. That's what gives you the higher moral ground. That somebody will call you names. They find pride in it. But the best way of responding is when they come before you, either as advocates or representatives of accused person, or if they fall foul of the law, or if they're alleged to have fallen foul of the law, exercise your mandate in accordance with your conscience. That's the only way we can shame those who seek to demonize us. Otherwise, I thank the family of Chief Justice Benedicto Kawanoka. You can walk with your head high up in the clouds because of the head of the family.